else on stage. Let's see what you got, brother.
Hey, I'm a biologist, so I guess I'm basically your nemesis.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like,
All right. What you got?
yeah, I mean, we can talk about evolution. What aspect of it do you want to discuss?
Right. So I believe in microevolution. I think that's testable and observable. But any of the other different types of evolution, like chemical, cosmic, macroevolution, obviously I do not believe in. I don't think they have any evidence to support it. I think they're all inferred.
Evolution.
All right. So I have three rules in here, and so let's go. And I'm a big boy. I can hear language. It just takes me a while to bleep it out. You don't know what cosmic evolution? So the evolution of the cosmos. You got like stellar evolution, where it's talking about stars. So you had hydrogen and helium.
Yeah, okay.
And then they compressed into a star.
Right, but like, okay, so when I'm saying the word evolution in the context of biology, I'm referring to the change of allele frequency in the population over multiple generations.
Right, but obviously I don't accept that definition in biological evolution because
This is
I need
literally
to see
the
genetic
definition that
information.
biologists use.
I know, but the problem is you guys change definitions in an effort to get a win. I can show you.
How?
Like what you just mentioned there, is the allele frequency change over time. That was not the definition over time. Like vestigial structures too. Y'all changed that. I don't know who gave evolutionists the authority to start changing definitions in an effort to get wins, but vestigial structures used to mean completely useless vestigial. It was completely useless structure. Then when they found out that they couldn't win on that because that doesn't exist, they then changed it to say that it now has a secondary function instead of its original primary function. So they just changed definitions in an effort to get wins. So
You
for
think every single
macroevolution,
thing we have in our bodies is useful?
you think it's not? You got an example of something that's not?
Retrotransposons. They basically deal your cells with a bunch of genetic load for no reason. If anything, it could actually damage functional genes.
That wouldn't be a vestige. I can't talk. But even if I was to grant that was true, yeah, well, a vestige, right? But even if I was to grant that was true, that would still be information lost. That's not gain. And we can't go from a single-celled organism to a fully functional human by losing all of our information.
Okay,
that's why I would define. Hold on. Yeah, let me just define it so we can. You've defined what you thought macroevolution is. Let me define what I think it is, so we're not talking past each other. You said allele frequency change over time. Did you not say that?
Yeah, that's just evolution in biology. Yeah.
Okay, so you've defined it.
In
So
a
now let me.
over multiple generations. Yeah.
Right. So I would say it has to be genetic information gain. Genetic because you got to be able to pass it on to your children. New information as far as new structures, new functions, new code, and new DNA. And it'd have to be gained from something that wasn't there before.
No, evolution doesn't necessarily do that. No.
Well, for you to prove that evolution has to be true, you cannot use examples of degradation. That's all I get is either
Actually, I can because that's a
microevolution.
change of the DNA in a population over time.
That's a math problem, brother. You can't go from a single-celled organism to a fully functional human by losing all your information. That's the exact opposite of evolution.
I wasn't talking about that. Now you're going off topic.
That's the same thing. What? I'm showing you how you can't use degradation. Because if you think that degradation is part of evolution, then you have an unfalsifiable viewpoint. I just gave you the standard for my viewpoint. For example, for evolution to be true, macroevolution, I would need to see genetic information gain. If you use degradation as part of evolution, you don't have a falsifiable.
I am not defining evolution as microevolution.
I understand that. Macroevolution is what I said. For macro, meaning that we have this genetic information gain. If you use degradation as evolution, then you have a religious. I can show you. You have a religious viewpoint that's unfalsifiable.
How?
Okay, so if I showed you something within, I showed you a picture of.
Can I give you an example and you give me your take as to whether or not it's evolution according to my own definition?
Hold on. You just asked me how. Let me tell you why you have an unfalsifiable viewpoint. If I showed you something within an example. Oh my goodness, guy! Don't ask me a question and then not allow me to answer it. Chill, okay? So if the reason why I said you would have an unfalsifiable viewpoint is because if I showed you a picture of an animal right now, you would say evolution got it to that point. If I said, look, it's the coelacanth and it hasn't changed over millions of years, you would say, that's okay, evolution got to where it was at, it didn't need it. But then if it didn't need to add on anymore because it got to its earliest ones. Okay, so then if I showed you a picture of degradation, brother, if you can't follow, I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, but you're misrepresenting the science.
I'm not misrepresenting. I can't
yes,
get it out
the
for
silicon
you to,
that we find nowadays is not the same as
I'm
the
gonna
one
give
that
you,
we found from millions
I'm
of
gonna,
years ago.
yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What's different about it? Okay, what's different about it? Oh my goodness.
A lot of its structure and anatomy, you will see some differences.
How about no?
Like
They
what?
don't have the same like size. They don't have the same body shape. Like the bones are not.
Okay,
like,
going.
I agree with you. That
Going
it's a
from bigger to
lobe-finned fish.
smaller is not okay. So it is still the same fish. What do you mean body structure? Just one being larger than the other is not different. It's still the same kind of fish. It's just smaller. So you got what's different about the one that's in the fossil record?
The fact that it's like very, very distant in time from current ones, first of all, so I'm not even sure like they could hybridize. Even if you could like resurrect it, I'm not even sure they could
come
hybridize.
on, man. I want to know what the difference between the coelacanth today and the one that lived millions of years ago.
I'm not an expert in this, but I've
made a
compared
claim.
like side to side. You can look up the pictures; they don't look the same. Can I give you an example as to like how a degradation of a gene, for instance, it can technically count as evolution according to the definition I provided?
No. And the
No?
reason why is
Okay.
because I've already, well, I mean, it would just be me saying nuh-uh and you saying uh-huh, because I've already said that degradation cannot possibly count as evidence
Why
for
do you
evolution.
refuse to accept the definition of evolution that is actually used
I
by
was trying to
biologists?
go through with that. I was trying to get you to understand that, but then you were so astronomically rude that I couldn't walk you through it to show it to you. You wouldn't let me
think
finish.
the definition of evolution given by biologists is just stupid? You think it's just wrong? You think you have
Yeah,
no
I think they
clue
changed.
what the hell they're talking
I think they
about?
changed. Yeah, I think they changed definitions in an effort to get a win. I've already told you that.
Well, no. Well, when science changes definition, it's more so to avoid getting an L. It's usually more in that direction because we realize that like the other definition we were using is not really consistent with what we're observing. We also redefine what a planet means, right? Like that's why we kicked out Pluto.
Right. I still want to know what the
We
difference
redefine things
between,
based on new information.
I know, but you made a claim. I'm just still looking. What's the difference between the coelacanth that lived millions of years ago and the one today?
You know what? That's
Or are we
actually
just
a
kind
good
of backing
question.
off of that claim?
You know what, dude? That's actually a good question. I should be able to answer it, and I will do some research on that topic because I think I should be able to argue that.
All right, fair enough. All right, so the reason why degradation cannot count as evidence for evolution is because it's losing information, brother. You don't have a standard. It's literally, I don't want to sound degrading, but if I was doing a student teacher scenario right here, teacher, go ahead, little Johnny. How did we get here, teacher? Well, little Johnny, we all started off as a single-celled organism, and then we lost everything, and that's why we're here today. It could not possibly count as evidence for evolution if you just keep showing me stuff losing information.
We didn't lose
Degradation could
everything.
not possibly count.
We kept some
Okay, then-
things.
Then that's why I say we should contend with genetic information gain, not loss of information. I would agree that you could show me innumerous amounts of things losing information. That's Newton's second law of thermodynamics. If that was part of evolution, I would have to contend that evolution is absolutely true because that's exactly what we see. The longest running evolutionary experiment, all of these different things that we've done, what we see is degradation.
Can I run a hypothetical on you when it comes to like one gene in an animal population over 2 generations?
Sure.
Okay, so let's say that in the population of animals, they have a gene that codes for a protein, right? And it's not an essential protein, right? But let's say it's actually useful, right? And the gene, let's say it's just gone, right? There's a mutation that just deletes it off of the genome. So this version of this gene, right? For some individuals, it would just not be here anymore. So if you compare the genomes of the 2 different generations, the one where the gene wasn't degraded and gone yet, and the one where some of the individuals have a gene that is degraded and gone, that, from a descriptive standpoint, and tell me if you disagree, appears to me to be a change of frequency of appearance of an allele in a population over multiple generations. So it's by definition, it's evolution.
Well, that's because this is, again, now we're getting away from the evidence and we're trying to get a definitional win. This is why I was very clear with you at the beginning that I don't do the definitional win stuff. So if I was just to concede to you that change over time is now the allele frequency change over time is now the correct definition, then you just win the argument and you never have to present any evidence.
No, because
so
if you want to talk about
brother,
mechanisms of evolution like speciation, we can have a conversation about
brother,
that.
Right? You're a biologist. Do you have, or you say you are? I mean, I don't know. Do you have any examples of genetic information?
Want me to show my diplomas?
Brother, I want you to calm down. Is what I want you to do. And
You're
I want you to continue.
Biologist, dude.
You got one more opportunity, and then I'm going to move on. Because so far, we have not talked about any evidence other than a coelacanth, which you've already conceded you're wrong on. So now I would just like some evidence.
I said I should be better at explaining the differences between the older ones and the ones
what is your evidence for genetic information gain? Give me your best evidence for evolution.
Oh, gene duplication. We see it all over time.
Okay, I believe in gene duplication. I think genes have always duplicated. They will continue to duplicate.
Sure.
Can you have you got an example where that brought in additional information, like for one species or one kind to another kind? How do you get there through duplication? Duplicating is not new information. It's taking existing information and duplicating.
Can lead to speciation. Is that your question?
No, speciation is just a definition that we put on it. So I'm asking you how that's new information. It's literally existing information that's duplicated.
Yeah, but why are you talking about like from one species to another? That's a different topic.
Because that would be information gain.
You were talking about gain of information, not speciation.
Let me give you I know, but let me give you an example. So the longest running evolutionary experiment with the bacteria, the E. coli bacteria, you're familiar?
What the? Of course.
Of course you are? Okay. So that happened through a gene duplication.
You know what?
That's why I tell people sometimes when they come up here, I don't have any reason not to believe them, so I'm just going to go with what you say to begin with. But if you're a biologist and all you could bring me is the coelacanth, which hasn't changed in millions of years according to the fossil record that we have, clearly I don't believe in millions of years, but it hasn't changed, and that's your evidence. And then I actually start to contend with you on actual evidence. The first place I go to is your longest running evolutionary experiment. You cuss me and run. You're not a biologist. You're a TikTok liar. I don't know why you people come on TikTok and lie. I mean, I get people on. I've had 3 people lie about being geologist, and I don't know how many people is lying to me now about being biologist. And you can't contend with a simple argument. If you're a biologist, you think you would be ready to go. Come on.